you here? Fucking idiot, Lee. Fucking stupid.
This is 29-year-old Lee Rodart, a man caught in a web of questions surrounding the disappearance of his girlfriend and co-worker. 21-year-old Savannah Gold. She had vanished without a trace on August 2nd, 2017. The focus immediately shifted to Lee, as police footage showed Savannah boarding his car at 5:30 p.m. But soon, Lee drove away alone, marking the last time Savannah was seen. Questions began to emerge, thick and fast.
Had Savannah been with Lee on that day, or was it just a big coincidence? And what truly happened to Savannah?
Savannah Gold was a vibrant 21-year-old born on April 26, 1996, to Dan and Sherry Gold in Jacksonville, Florida. Growing up in the heart of Jacksonville, Savannah's early years were shaped by a passion for the arts. She attended the La Villa School of Arts and later continued her artistic journey at the Douglas Anderson School of Arts. But despite holding a scholarship to the prestigious Savannah College of Art and Design, Savannah made a selfless choice after high school. In 2017, when her mother faced a daunting challenge as she was diagnosed with cancer, Savannah turned down her academic opportunity and chose to be a pillar of support for her family. Meanwhile, Savannah found a job at the Bonefish Grill, where she dedicated 2 years of her professional life as a server. Amidst the hustle and bustle of the restaurant, fate intertwined her path with Lee, the 29-year-old manager of the diner, located in the Mandarin neighborhood of Jacksonville. Lee was a Florida native with 5 years of restaurant experience and held a pivotal role at the eatery. However, the whole story took an unexpected turn as Savannah and Lee's lives stretched beyond the confines of their workspace. Despite Lee being already committed in a decade-long relationship with his girlfriend, Chelsea, the pair of Lee and Savannah began finding solace in each other's company, which later took Savannah's life. It was a regular Tuesday evening on August 2, 2017. 21-year-old Savannah Gold left her parents' home in Florida for her shift at Bonefish Grill in Jacksonville. Dressed in her work uniform, black shoes, trousers, and a white chef jacket, she headed out at around 5:15 p.m. Her shift as a server at the casual dining seafood restaurant required her to start at 5:30 p.m. But little did she know, this routine workday would take a dark turn, and she would never make it to her shift. An hour and 15 minutes later, Savannah's father received an unusual text message from her daughter's phone. It read, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you and Mom, I met a really great guy, and we are running away together. I love him, and we are leaving tonight. I'll call you later when we get to where we are going." The message was not only unexpected, but it was also filled with spelling mistakes and sounded quite unlike the usual Savannah. Apparently, just a few hours before Savannah's disappearance, a similar message also reached Savannah's brother. "Hey, I quit. I'm leaving with my boyfriend. I can't do this anything," probably meant as anymore. "I'm fine, just want to get away," the message claimed. Savannah's family immediately recognized the similarity in the inconsistent messages. They were now sure that something was clearly wrong at this point. Also, Savannah's family knew their daughter very well, understanding that she wouldn't abandon her job and family so abruptly. This was the very same young woman who, out of compassion to her sick mother, turned down a scholarship to the art school. Also concerned and sensing that something was wrong, the restaurant where Savannah was employed contacted her parents' house when she had failed to turn up for her shift. As worries intensified, Savannah's parents, Dan and Sherry, decided that it was time to involve law enforcement and made the call to the police. Adding to the worry, Savannah's car, a 2007 white Kia Spectra, was found abandoned in the Bonefish Grill restaurant parking lot. Oddly, it was unlocked, and her belongings, including her purse and ID, were left inside untouched. The front left tire, replaced just the day before, was now slashed. Her parents and co-workers, unable to find satisfactory answers to these questionable circumstances, were rightfully alarmed. Attempts to reach Savannah on her phone were futile, and her social media accounts fell silent. Her family, desperate for any information, created a missing persons poster and distributed it in the area. Simultaneously, investigators searched into CCTV footage, hoping to uncover clues that would shed light on Savannah's mysterious disappearance. Incidentally, a critical piece of footage came from the Bonefish restaurant's parking lot itself. In the footage, Savannah was seen stepping out of her vehicle at 5:31 p.m., heading towards a coworker's car. A conversation between them followed through the rolled-down window of the car. 14 minutes later, she entered the coworker's vehicle, and this is where the perturbing turn of events unfolded. The CCTV footage captured a struggle inside the vehicle as doors were opened and closed in an apparent scuffle. The coworker, identified as Lee, then emerged from the vehicle, taking something from Savannah's car before slashing her tire. At approximately 6:04 p.m., Lee left his own vehicle, and Savannah was never seen exiting his car. The footage gave the investigators a disturbing picture, leaving a ton of unanswered questions about Savannah's disappearance. Right after Savannah's unexplained disappearance, on Wednesday, August 2, 2017, an officer was dispatched at 7:12 p.m. to investigate the missing person as reported by Gould's mother. Meanwhile, her family and friends also launched a desperate appeal for help. In the following days of that week, from Thursday to Saturday, they tirelessly sought assistance from the public, distributing flyers in the Mandarin area and using social media to share Savannah's photo. The community joined in the hope of unraveling the reason surrounding Savannah's sudden disappearance. It was during this period of heightened concern that law enforcement turned their attention to Lee, a figure so obviously connected to Savannah in the captured security footage. Now, Lee wasn't a stranger. He was someone known to Savannah's close circle. According to Savannah's best friend, there had been multiple encounters between them, including dinners and time spent together outside work. However, the relationship between Savannah and Lee was far from straightforward and was described in online articles as both on-again, off-again, an ex-partnership, an arrangement violating the company's employment policy. Savannah's mother, in an interview, disclosed that she was supposed to have a meeting with Lee, but he failed to show up.
We never got to meet him. He was supposed to come over for dinner one time and he failed. And then ultimately just ended up lying to her all the time. Just was not a good person.
Coming back to a closer look at the crime scene, when the police arrived at the diner, the restaurant's employees were questioned, including the manager, Lee. Interestingly, during the initial searches for Savannah, Lee made a comment of not having met Savannah for 2 to 3 weeks, which was a statement that contradicted the video evidence. Lee, who was also later involved in distributing Savannah's missing persons flyers along with her family, was seemingly unaware that his actions on the day of the missing had been captured on surveillance cameras. Scrutinizing the footage revealed that a little while after Savannah was inside the Malibu, the car began to rock, indicating an ongoing struggle inside. The driver then came out of the vehicle, kicked the back door open 3 times before returning to the driver's seat. The car then drove away, leaving Savannah unaccounted for. Further investigation revealed that Lee owned a silver Chevy Malibu, matching the one captured in the footage. Detectives promptly brought him in for questioning, where his initial denial of having seen Savannah in the recent past slowly crumbled. Lee admitted to lying and revealed a new narrative. During the subsequent interrogation, Lee shared his version of events regarding their relationship. He admitted to having been in a relationship with Savannah for approximately 8 months. Acknowledging that he had already had a girlfriend at the time they started the affair. Lee claimed that they bonded over their challenging backgrounds and their connection deepened over the first 2 to 3 months. However, he asserted that their association took a turn when Savannah began engaging in drug use. While he admitted to doing drugs with her a couple of times, Lee claimed that he distanced himself when her drug use escalated.
She started using drugs a lot.
Okay.
Now, I used them with her, not the same drugs that she used all the time, but I did them with her a couple times, and then she started to get heavy into them. And
Oh, gotcha.
According to him, he and his ex-girlfriend Chelsea started reconnecting while Savannah was still struggling with the drug addiction. Though not explicitly stated in the interrogation, the relationship between Lee and Savannah contributed to his breakup with Chelsea. Regarding his relationship with Savannah, Lee contended that Savannah's drug use was the primary reason for bringing an end to their time together. He claimed that after an overdose incident, Savannah got off drugs, appeared healthier, and they resumed texting. However, Lee maintained that he eventually broke off contact with Savannah, and they mutually agreed not to communicate outside of work. Now, the interrogation took a darker turn as Lee Rodart described Savannah's alleged spreading of lies at their common workplace. He asserted that a few days before the incident, she was telling colleagues that they had hooked up recently, claiming an ongoing intimate relationship and asserting that Lee was still her boyfriend.
I heard that she has been basically telling a lot of people at work that we hooked up a bunch, like a couple days before that, and that she was going to like tell about the whole situation, try to get me fired. And
why would that get you fired? I don't know.
I'm a manager and she's an employee. So
okay, so you guys aren't supposed to fraternize?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And she just told people, I guess, that she was out with that work at the restaurant that we were having sex.
According to Lee, these rumors were affecting his managerial position, and he expressed his concern about potential consequences to Savannah. This meeting unfolded in the Bonefish restaurant's parking lot on the evening of August 2nd, as Lee claimed. He contended that Savannah claimed to have just done heroin, and upon feeling paranoid, requested to sit in his car. Lee claimed that Savannah refused to cease spreading lies among their coworkers, prompting him to puncture her tire as a symbolic warning.
At that point, I got out and I punctured the hole in the tire.
Okay.
And I said, no, stop. Like, I'm serious. I don't want to talk to you. It's not good for us, so let's stop.
According to Lee, he got out of his car, went toward Savannah's car, and stuck a knife into the front driver's side tire. He then returned to his car and demanded she stop spreading rumors. Now, according to him, after he punctured her tire, Savannah got out of his car and entered a green mid-90s Ford pickup. In this part, he claims that while being in his car, she used her phone, and 5 minutes later, the green truck arrived at the parking lot. Savannah got into the truck, which then drove away. Lee claimed the windows were tinted, preventing him from identifying the driver, so that he couldn't even figure out if it was a guy or lady behind the wheel. This is exactly where the detectives found Lee's story puzzling, questioning why he hadn't mentioned the green truck in their initial conversation. Despite their efforts, Lee stuck to his claim of not knowing where Savannah was. The detectives then shocked him by revealing they had video evidence of the entire incident. They emphasized that Savannah never left Lee's car, contradicting his version of events. Lee, initially skeptical, eventually realized the gravity of the situation. Despite this, he continued to deny any knowledge of Savannah's whereabouts. Now here's where the detectives pointed out the inconsistencies in Lee's changing stories and urged him to tell the truth for Savannah's family's sake.
So you don't tell me this story. And then today we're talking again because I brought you down to talk to you because I found holes in that story that didn't match up. And now you're telling me another story that there's holes in this story that does not match up.
They revealed that the surveillance footage they possessed also had captured a struggle in the back seat of Lee's car. The presence of the footage really shook Lee. He initially said Savannah tried to stab him, and he slapped her. He then admitted grabbing her to stop her from leaving, but claimed he later calmed down and they left together. The detectives questioned the troubling nature of his actions, focusing on the seriousness of forcibly preventing Savannah from leaving. Despite his admission of having vigorously restrained her, Lee kept insisting that their conversation ended peacefully on that day. As the detectives pressed for an honest confession from Lee, they highlighted the act of him stopping Savannah from leaving, which again pointed out the inconsistencies in his evolving stories.
She never got out of your back seat. Video cameras don't lie. How do you think I know this information, Lee? I wasn't there, but a video camera caught it.
Tell me what happened.
I I don't know.
That passenger door comes open and shuts, comes open and shuts. She never gets out of that car. And you drive off. There is no green truck. We're fact finders, Lee. I don't have anything personal against you.
No, not at all.
Lee continuously shifting stories raised concerns about his credibility and sincerity in cooperating with the investigation. The detectives pressured him repeatedly over the importance of justice for Savannah Gold and her grieving family.
This family deserves better than this. This family deserves better than somebody who works with her and who's got knowledge and won't tell the police because they're worried about their own ass. Because that's pretty cheap. I'm gonna be honest with you. And
I agree.
your feelings in it, I don't really care about your feelings. What I care about is finding her.
And in the end, Lee admitted to killing Savannah, describing the violent encounter in his car.
It was kind of like mid.
Okay,
She just like
that. Yeah, she's trying to. Like that, like trying to.
like halfway up my chest
Yeah. Okay.
and just like kind of on the back of my neck.
Sure. Yeah.
And I tried to pull away and she wouldn't.
Okay.
So I took my hands and
Moved her hands away.
I tried to move her away,
Okay.
and I thought my hands were around her shoulders.
Okay.
My hands were around her neck.
Okay.
And I turned, and when I went to push her down onto the seat,
Okay.
but my hands were on her neck.
Okay.
I thought I had her right here.
You thought you had her up here?
Yeah, I thought I
Okay.
had her like right here.
Yeah.
And I ended up coming down.
Okay.
And I just heard a pop.
According to Lee's final confession, a heated argument in his car escalated into a struggle, resulting in the death of Savannah. As per his account, Savannah allegedly initiated physical contact by squeezing around his chest and neck. In an attempt to break free, Lee claimed he moved her hands away with brute force, mistakenly thinking they were around his shoulders. However, the situation took a horrifying turn when he heard a pop sound, later realizing it was Savannah's neck and thereby severing her spine. Despite the initial struggle, Lee asserted that he was merely trying to get Savannah to release her grip, but the surveillance video contradicted this claim and indicated Savannah's desperate attempts to escape. After the fatal incident, Lee also retrieved a makeup bag from Savannah's car, possibly in an attempt to later create the illusion that she had left with someone else. He then drove away, disposed of Savannah's phone, threw her clothes out of the car, and attempted to burn her body in his backyard fire pit. Being unsuccessful in his attempt to incinerate the body quickly, Lee resorted to burying Savannah in his backyard. The crime scene investigators later discovered gas cans and an empty bleach bottle at his residence. As authorities were progressing to close in on their investigation, Lee's paranoia escalated, leading him to exhume Savannah's body the following morning and relocate it to the trunk of his car. Driving to a familiar fishing spot, he carelessly dumped her body in a pond and discarded her clothes along the highway. The police intervention on August 5, 2017, marked a crucial moment, prompting Lee to confess to the murder and reveal the location where he had disposed of Savannah's body. The desperate search for Savannah Gold reached a dark conclusion on the late Saturday evening of August 5th, when Jacksonville police dug up her lifeless body from a lake on the west side. After having confessed to the crime, Lee was finally brought to justice on the 17th of November, 2017, as he faced serious charges, including second-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a dead body. Despite his admission, he pleaded not guilty, deploying a stand-your-ground motion, claiming self-defense. This legal maneuver, originating from Florida law, allowed individuals to justify murder as an act of self-defense if they genuinely feared for their lives. Notably, this law gained notoriety with the George Zimmerman case involving Trayvon Martin. While this law served to protect those genuinely fearing harm, its application had become contentious, often leading to controversial claims of self-defense. Lee's attempt to utilize the stand-your-ground defense, however, encountered substantial challenges. Crucial factors, such as the significant difference in physical stature between Lee, being 5 feet 11 and 163 pounds, and Savannah, being 5 foot and 91 pounds, raised skepticism. His side of the story during the interrogation, describing an accidental death during a struggle with his ex-girlfriend, clearly contradicted the concept of self-defense. Particularly troubling was his statement about putting her back forcefully while she attempted to leave, which was hardly reflective of someone fearing for his life. Medical examinations further undermined Lee's claims. Absence of a broken neck and the absence of drugs in Savannah's system contradicted Lee's assertions about her drug abuse history and her accidental death during a physical struggle. Her fractured thyroid cartilage hinted at a possible strangulation rather than an accidental injury, leading to immediate death.
I did a detailed dissection of the back of the neck as well, and I didn't find any hemorrhage or bony fractures or anything in the back of the neck either.
The court, aligned with the medical evidence, rejected Lee's stand your ground motion. Facing the weight of evidence against him, Lee received a plea deal, admitting guilt to second-degree murder in exchange for a 40-year prison sentence. This marked the end of a legal battle, where Lee's defense crumbled in the light of forensic evidence and the court's decision to deny his self-defense claim. Unraveling more into Lee's life, it was discovered that Lee's family had a criminal background. His sister, Amber Camarillo, at the age of 26, had been arrested in 2016 for shooting and killing Raquel Wallace on December 6, 2016, at a Jacksonville motel. The incident stemmed from a dispute over a car that one of Amber's friends had traded for drugs. This dark truth depicted a somber picture of a family with a dark history of violence. As Savannah's family sat one last time in the courtroom, facing the man who ended their daughter's life, Sharon Gold, Savannah's mother, expressed her determination not to let Savannah's murder control their lives any further.
My love for her is endless and boundless. The only way I can continue on is to know that the last thing she would want for us is for this to break us.
Daniel Gold, Savannah's father, recounted the heart-wrenching moment watching the surveillance footage, witnessing his daughter's last struggle for life.
As I watched the video of Savannah struggling for her life, Lee's car violently shaking back and forth, I saw her lying hard in glowing colors for the last time.
Sharon, trying to comprehend the unimaginable loss, shared her precious memories, emphasizing the profound impact Savannah had on everyone who knew her.
How could we ever imagine the impact 21 would have? 21 was her jersey number in sports. 21 tattooed on her hand in Roman numerals. 21, the year her killer goes to prison.
During the trial, Lee kept his back turned to the grieving family, indicating no remorse. Amidst the pain, the family expressed hope that the conclusion of the trial would bring some semblance of peace. The purple butterflies adorning Gold's parents' jackets stood as a symbol of that peace. As they navigated through the aftermath, they drew strength from the love they hold for Savannah, a force that refused to be shattered by their daughter's untimely departure. As we conclude Savannah's tragic story, the pain lingered, covering the deepest consequences of violence. In an interview with Savannah's mother, overwhelmed by grief, revealed her stance against capital punishment, yet her desire for Lee to endure perpetual suffering echoed the profound loss and heartbreak. "It's still not enough," she sobbed, laying bare the enduring pain.
I'm a little bit more of the mindset that I just want him to suffer forever. I don't want him to die. I want him to just suffer eternally. And it's still not enough.
Savannah's Facebook page stands as a public memorial, a poignant testament to a life cut short. In the aftermath, a GoFundMe account emerged as a collective effort to honor Savannah's memory. Funeral funds and donations to charities close to her heart, including those for animals, her art school, and victims of domestic violence, became a shared endeavor to transform her story into positive change. Amongst the darkness, a remorseful phone call was made by Lee to Chelsea, shocked by the news. She attested to never experiencing violence from him, underscoring the complexity of understanding the person behind the crime.